How we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am Jason C, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back. And if this is your first time here and you're looking for the latest in whiskey and bourbon news and reviews, you have found the right channel. So think about hitting that subscribe button and hitting that bell notification so you know when I am putting out a new video. So since the weather out there is starting to get cold, there's nothing more I enjoy on a cold night than a rye whiskey with those spicy and sweet flavors. It's got a great way of warming you up. Rye whiskey has so many different options now, but it wasn't always that way for a long time. But back before Prohibition, rye was the most used grain by American whiskey makers. After Prohibition ended, American distillers preferred corn and bourbon, and by the 90s, rye was used very sparingly. However, throughout the early 2000s, the craft cocktail trend blew up in the United States, and as did the demand for rye whiskey, which is the spirit of choice in a variety of classics like the Manhattan. So for this blind mashup, which I've been really enjoying lately, I wanted to see how 4 of my favorite rye whiskeys would go head-to-head blind. So the only rules were they had to be available, great price, and 100 proof or higher. So let's meet the contestants. First up, we have Rittenhouse Rye Bottled in Bond. Rittenhouse Rye is from Heaven Hill and produced in the tradition of the classic Pennsylvania rye whiskey, which are believed to have had a spicier and fruity flavor profile. This style is said to be a high rye mash bill consisting of 80 to 100% rye grain. Ironically, Rittenhouse is a low rye at 51%, which is typical of the modern Kentucky rye mash bill. This is a bottled in bond rye, which means that whiskey must be the product of one distillation season and one distiller at a single distillery, aged in a federally bonded warehouse for at least 4 years, and must be bottled at exactly 100 proof. The mash bill on Rittenhouse Rye is 51% rye, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. The MSRP is $25. Second up is Knob Creek Straight Rye. Released in the middle of 2012, this non-age stated but patiently aged rye was the first from Knob Creek, offered at 100 proof in the classic flask style bottle. The rye is a blend of whiskeys of up to 9 years old. This is not only a solid introduction to the spicy and herbal world of rye, it's also a great base for classic cocktails. Now, Jim Beam does not release a grain bill, but internet sleuths believe it is the same blend or very close to the 51% minimum needed to officially call it a rye as another Jim Beam label, the Old Overholt. The MSRP of this bottle is $40. Third bottle up is Wild Turkey 101 Rye. Wild Turkey 101 Rye was once a mainstay in the rye whiskey section of a liquor store. In 2012, Wild Turkey released an 81 proof version due to supply restraints and announced that 101 Rye would be put on allocation. The bottle was quickly bought up and disappeared from store shelves. A year later, the company announced Wild Turkey 101 Rye's return, but was only found in select bars and restaurants. This is slowly changing as there has been a trickle of Wild Turkey 101 Rye to retail shelves over the past few years. It now sports Wild Turkey's 2016 label redesign. It's non-age stated and has a mash bill of 51% rye, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley with an MSRP of about $34 to $40. Last bottle up is Pikesville Rye. Elwyn and Brothers Distillery was founded in Scottslevel, Maryland, northwest of Baltimore. They began producing Pikesville Rye in 1895. Prohibition put the kibosh on the brand along with the rest of the once booming industry. The brand reemerged after Prohibition and became the last standing Maryland rye at the time. When the Maryland distillery closed in 1972, the brand survived on existing whiskey stocks until 1982 when it was sold to Heaven Hill, but since then it has been produced in Kentucky. More than just a local designation, Maryland whiskey style provides a softer profile using a lower rye content. Pikesville Rye is aged for 6 years and has a mash bill of 51% rye, 39% corn, and 10% malted barley with an MSRP of about $50. All right, guys, so glad you met our contestants. So what I like to normally do when I do a blind tasting here is I put a sticker on the bottom of each glass with a corresponding letter. And I've written down which each letter, which bottle it corresponds to. So what I'm going to do is go through the tasting, take some notes, and then we'll find out at the end which one came out on top for me. So I'm really excited about this one. These are 4 bottles I really enjoy. All of them are great buys. You can't go wrong with either one. But I'm just curious to see what will come out on top. So let's get into the nose. Let's start over here. So here we go. This one is super, super sweet on the nose. Not a ton of rye spice there. A lot of caramel toffee there. Getting a slight hint of those rye, those spicy citrus notes there on the back end, a little bit. Really good. It's got a really nice nose. It's got full balance. You're definitely getting a little bit of oak in there. A lot of sweetness. This could almost pass as a bourbon. Really good. Just a very, very faint hit of those rye spice notes kind of on the back there. Let's go into the nose on number 2. Wow, way more of a rye spice on this. This is like total, this is an orange bomb that's coming through right now. Really interesting. Wow, vanilla orange sweetness, almost like a, this tastes like when you open one of those, the orange Hostess cupcakes with the sweet and that orange flavor coming through. A little bit of that, definitely getting some rye spice on there, a little bit of oak, sweet oak. Really nice citrus notes on there. Good nose. So A is coming off a little bit more like a bourbon. B is coming definitely off more as a rye with those spicy notes, spicy and citrus notes. So let's try number 3 here. Wow, this one now is definitely more, definitely coming off more as a rye too. Definitely sweet, really nice balance. This almost has a chocolate orange flavor to it on the nose. Really interesting. Chocolate, a little hint of licorice there, so maybe some black pepper. That's really nice on the nose, man. All these so far are just great. It's got some really, really nice spiky licorice notes there on the nose too, to go along with that orange chocolate flavor. Really nice. All right, let's go to the last one. All right, now this one is now kind of falling towards where A was, where it's coming off more as a bourbon on the nose. This is very sweet, caramel, vanilla, toffee. Slight hit of orange on there, some citrus. Now I say orange a lot when I nose rye, just because it's one of the dominant notes I get whenever something is usually a high rye or a full rye like this, which is a very strong citrus note. All right, guys, it is time to try these. All right, so here we go. Super excited. Let's go into number 1 here. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. Nice proof on that one. I mean, these are all in that 100. The highest proof bottle we have here today is the Pikesville, which is at 110. Rittenhouse comes in at 100. Wild Turkey is 101, and Knob Creek's at 100 too. So they're all going to be generally around the same proof. But this one has a really, really nice mouth coating flavor to it. Coming in with those caramel vanillas. It's also coming off a little bit as a bourbon, but on the end, you're getting a really nice licorice flavor to it. It's really good. I'm going for one more sip here. Yeah, so the sweetness definitely on the front is kind of going away a little bit, definitely dissipating. Now those rye flavors are starting to shine through. Little zestiness. It's a little bit more on the licorice end, I think. Really good rye. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of water. All right, let's see how number 2 is. Now this was the one that was like an orange bomb on the nose, so let's see how it tastes on the palate. Cheers. Wow, the difference coming off of that is ridiculous. It is so super orangey and zesty, and definitely got a good proof to it. The flavors, I mean, all these finishes, I mean, the finishes are going to be pretty medium to long. Tastes really good. Really good orange flavor. Slight sweetness up front, but this is definitely coming off more as a classic rye flavor, but so delicious. If you really like the orange flavors in there, then number 2 is where it's at. All right, take one more sip. Yeah. The slight vanilla and caramel notes you're getting on the front, they dissipate quickly, and then it really just turns into orange and rye spice, a little bit of licorice, that black pepper. Really nice classic rye flavors in this one. This is really, really good. All right, so I'm gonna grab a sip of water here. All right, let's go into number 3. Let's see what we got. Cheers. Okay, this one is actually similar to number 2 here, but it's sweeter. It's not coming off as a super, I don't know, I would say I think the flavors are a little bit thinner on number 3. They're not as mouth coating, they're coming off as a little bit more subdued. Definitely getting those rye spice notes on there, but definitely not punching through like A and B was. Let's go in for one more taste here. Yeah, this one has a very, very strong licorice flavor on the end that I'm getting, that black licorice flavor. It's got a really nice spice kick to it, good finish. Definitely more of the licorice bomb in this one. So that's really interesting. All right, let's take a sip of water. All right, let's go in for our final gem, guys. Let's see what we got. Cheers. Oh, that's nice. That one's really good. So this one is, this has a really nice sweetness up front. It's got that little bit of overlaying orange spice going through it, and then on the end it's finishing like a rye. Spice notes, a little bit more of that rye kick to it. Let's go in for another sip. Oh yeah, that's good. It's got a great proof, good long finish. This one right now has kind of everything I'm looking for in a rye. This one has it's got that sweetness up front. It's got this, that orange citrus note that's kind of just running through the entire palate. And then it's finishing with a nice little licorice and black pepper burst, nice little rye spice burst, almost minty on the end. That's really nice. Number 4 is really nice. So, all right, I'm gonna take a quick pause and we're gonna run through them one more time. All right, guys, so I've tried all 4 of them. I've taken some notes here, and now what we're gonna do is go through them one more time. I'm already trying to wrap my head around which one's my favorite. There are some really good ones in here. They're all delicious, but I think there are a couple in here that actually really do stand out. So let's go through them one more time and then pick out who the winner is. So here we go with number 1. Yeah, so number 1 to me, I think it's kind of changing a little bit to me. It's definitely getting more of a rye note to it. Definitely was starting off sweeter. It definitely still starts out sweet, but I think as now my palate's kind of gotten used to these rye notes, these rye flavors, now certain things are starting to stick out. This one has still got a little bit of sweetness to it, but now it's finishing more of a rye spice, but more of a licorice than an orange, which isn't a bad thing. It's still really good. All right, let's go to number 2. Here we go. Oh man, I'm loving that. This is the orange bomb, like I've been saying, just citrus and mint and really nice rye spice kick to it. So good. It's orangey, and it's kind of a rye spicy without being overly sweet, which I think is a really great thing to do for you know, for a rye whiskey. I think that's what you want. You really want those that spicy rye and the citrus notes. And I really think number 2 brings that. So, all right, let's go with number 3. Here we go. So number 3 is similar to number 2, I think, where you're getting a good sweetness, but instead of orange, this is all black licorice, rye spice, black pepper. Really good. You know, but for me, black licorice isn't one of those flavors that I truly love. So, but when it's mixed with other flavors, like on number 2, when it's got, you know, more of that orange kick with a little bit of black licorice, I don't mind it so much. But this one is really, really black licoricey. So I'm really curious to find out which that one is going to be. All right, let's go on to the final one, guys. Here we go. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, yeah, number 4 is, number 4 starts off sweet, really caramelly, vanilla. And then all of a sudden you get that waft of orange spice, orange flavor. And then it finishes with a little bit of that, a little bit of a licorice and a mint kick on the end. That was really good. That one's really good. So I'm gonna have a hard time, I think, deliberating between a couple of these. And if you've been paying attention, I think you have. I think you probably know which 2 those are gonna be. So I'm gonna take a quick break, deliberate, and we'll be right back with my results. All right, guys, welcome back. I've sat and I've deliberated. I've picked out my 4th place through 1st place. But I think most importantly, I really kind of found out what notes I really like the most in a really good rye. And I hope that this can kind of guide you as to what rye you guys would enjoy based on the flavor profiles that I was picking up. So let's get into it. So in 4th place, I had picked out number 3. So let's see what number 3 is. Number 3 is letter A, and letter A is Knob Creek. Wow. Knob Creek, you know, and Knob Creek's a pretty good go-to for me. I really enjoy Knob Creek. Definitely comes off as a sweeter rye, but tonight, you know, trying this, it definitely had a really more powerful licorice flavor, black licorice. So, you know, if you really like that, I know a lot of people do, then I think Knob Creek would be your rye. But for me tonight, it came in 4th place. So let's go to my 3rd place selection, which was number 1. Now this one had a really good sweetness to it, a little bit of a rye spice kick on the end, a little bit of that licorice finish too. And let's see what number 3 was. Number 3 is letter C. Letter C was the Rittenhouse rye. Wow, 3rd place here of Rittenhouse rye. Rittenhouse is always one of my go-tos. Love sipping on Rittenhouse a lot. It's an amazing value at like 25 bucks. This has sweet, it has spice. Really, really good. Love Rittenhouse. So if you see it, definitely grab it. It also makes a great mixer, as we mentioned, being in Manhattans or any other type of mixed cocktail that, you know, uses a rye whiskey. So really good. All right, so that means our last 2 left are the Wild Turkey 101 and Pikesville. All right, guys, so let's find out what my 2nd place rye whiskey is. This one was the Orange Bomb. Really, really loved it. This was number 2, and number 2 was letter B. Let's find out what letter B is. Letter B is Wild Turkey 101. Nice, which means my number 1 rye whiskey of this blind mashup was Pikesville Rye Whiskey. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, kind of concluding everything, Wild Turkey 101 Rye. This one was my number 2. This one was the Orange Bomb with those citrus flavors. I mean, rye and a little bit of licorice on the end, minty notes. But really, really a lot of citrus in there, and it was really, really good. Really enjoyable. I think if you really like orange flavored rye, high citrus notes in your rye whiskey, then you're gonna love Wild Turkey 101. Coming in at a great price of between 34 to 40 bucks. I think it's a pretty good steal. But number 1 right here, guys, is Pikesville Rye. Like I said, it's 6 years old. It's 110 proof. This has such a great balance of sweet, of citrus, and then a little bit of licorice on the end, a nice minty burst. It's absolutely delicious. But like I said, all 4 of these definitely bring something different to the table, and I think that's something for everyone if you're looking for a specific flavor profile. And I hope this blind mashup kind of helped you guys, you know, kind of use it as a guide to go through what ryes would work for you. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining me for this blind mashup of 4 of my favorite rye whiskeys to get. Really hope this helps you in trying to pick out a rye, or if you're looking to start out with buying some rye whiskeys and the flavor profiles that you could find in each of these bottles. If you haven't subscribed, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Hit that like button. If you haven't already, please find me on Instagram and also find me on Twitter. Love talking with you guys. Let me know what you think about either of the 4 of these and how these have stacked up on any ones that you've tried. And like I always say, it is not about the whiskey, it is the people you share it with. So cheers, everyone, and I'm gonna sip some more Pikesville. Cheers.